Warhammer doesn't have to be scary, it doesn't have to be intimidating, it doesn't even have to be confusing, yes, I said it, and more importantly, it doesn't have to be gatekeepy, and I appreciate that's probably what we were met with 90% of the time when you do a Google search for what the hell is Warhammer. So the aim of my video is to try and just ease you into it slightly, give you a brief, very brief overview in the hope that you might be a tiny bit more interested in it by the end of this video than you are currently. So bear with me as we dive straight into the world of Warhammer 40K. At its core, 40K is science fiction. We're talking spaceships, lasers, and the far future. But don't go in expecting shiny utopias like Star Trek. Nope, 40K is Gridmark, a genre that's all about things being bleak, brutal, and downright terrifying. Imagine a universe where everything that could go wrong did go wrong, times 1,000. But there's a twist. 40K also has some serious fantasy energy baked in. Strip away the spaceships and the plasma guns, and it could easily be about knights and monsters and magical relics. It's a mix of sci-fi tech, gothic horror, and ancient mythology all rolled into one. And let's not forget the alien races straight out of fantasy novels. You've got space elves known as the Eldari, dark elves known as the Drukhari, orcs, but just spelt cooler, dwarves, the Leagues of Votan, and even robot skeletons, Necrons. But don't expect your typical elves and dwarves routine. These factions, they're twisted, they're futuristic, and they are totally unique. Whether you're into detective stories, epic wars, comedies about dumb orcs, or full-blown horror, 40K has it all. It's an insane mashup, really, of genres, but one thing that ties it together is the tone. Grim, dark, hopelessness has never been so fun. When and where does Warhammer 40K take place? Welcome to the 41st millennium, or 40,000 years into the future, give or take. Humanity has spread across the galaxy, but things, they're not looking good. We're talking massive galactic empires, ancient alien civilizations, and a horrifying parallel dimension called the Warp, where demons, they hang out, and physics just, it stops making sense. Earth still exists, but it's now called Terra. The sun is still shining, but the galaxy has been split in half by a giant warp rift. One side has contact with Terra, and the other, called the Imperium Nalius, is basically cut off and surrounded by chaos, quite literally. Travel across the galaxy isn't as cool as warp speed in Star Wars, but it's more like haunted house meets time travel. Dangerous, unpredictable, and sometimes you end up centuries late for an invasion. And trust me, showing up to a battle 200 years late is not ideal. The big players in Warhammer 40K are as follows. You've got the Imperium of Mankind. This is like humanity's empire, a massive bureaucratic and religious theocratic police state held together by fear, paperwork, and a whole lot of guns. At the top is the God Emperor of Mankind, who's technically dead but still physically holding everything together from a golden life support chair. The Imperium's muscle, it comes in two flavours. You've got Space Marines, they're superhuman, genetically modified warriors with extra organs. Yep, they even have two hearts. They're divided into chapters with distinct themes. You've got vampiric blood angels, my favourites. You've got wolf-like space wolves and crusading Black Templars, just to name a few. Astra Militarum is basically regular humans, but in ridiculous numbers. They fight with tanks, artillery, and sheer stubbornness. Think World War I trench warfare, but in space. And a fun fact, humanity might be the protagonists, but they're not the good guys. Oppressive, cruel, and fanatically religious, the Imperium's motto is pretty much better dead than different. The forces of chaos, worshipping dark gods and embracing madness, these guys are the Imperium's worst nightmare. Chaos Space Marines used to be loyal warriors, but they turned traitor during the Horus Heresy, basically the galaxy's most intense civil war ever. You'll hear it all the time, particularly in the comment section on my Instagram, where I'm constantly accused of being a heretic, but I digress. Each god of chaos represents something twisted. You've got Khorne, god of rage, blood and skulls, blood for the blood god. You've got Nurgle, god of disease, decay and really gross stuff. Then you've got Tzeentch, god of magic, change and scheming. Slaanesh, god of excess, pleasure and hedonism. Oh, and they can summon demons straight from the warp, so yeah, fun times. The Xenos, or the aliens, here's their sort of lineup. You've got the Eldari, they're space elves, trying to survive after creating a chaos god by just basically partying too hard. No, seriously. Orcs, they're green-skinned brutes, and they just love fighting. The bigger, the louder their guns, the better. Necrons, they're undead robots waking up after millions of years, looking to erase all organic life. The Tau, they're high-tech and idealistic. They believe in the greater good, but will absolutely blast you if you disagree. You've got Tyranids. Think Alien meets Starship Troopers. They're a hive mind that devours entire planets. Even scarier is that they're always evolving. Leagues of Votan, they're space dwarves. They're tough, they're tech savvy, and they're guided by ancient AI that they revere as ancestors. Then you've got battles within Warhammer 40K. So really, like, what is it like? War in 40K is big. It's brutal, it's messy. Imagine massive trenches, tanks rolling through wastelands, and chainsaw swords. Yes, chainsaws, revving up for close combat. There's something for everyone. Space battles, mech fights, and even duels with plasma swords. Weapons, they're over the top, and it's amazing. You've got lasguns, they're like futuristic AK-47s. You've got bolters that shoot mini rockets, and flamethrowers set entire squads on fire. Oh, and psychers. They're space wizards. They can turn enemies into living bombs. Each faction fights with its own style. Orcs charge in wild mobs. We all know their war cry. Space Marines are tactical and elite. Tyranids, they overwhelm with bio-horrors, and Necrons slowly march forward, rebuilding themselves as they go. It's chaotic. It's cinematic. It is completely insane. So what's happening within the story as we speak? The 40K galaxy, it is always on fire, but sort of like its latest, most important highlights, if you're looking at sort of getting into it, you've got the Great Rift. The galaxy split in half by a warp rift, cutting off huge parts of humanity. Then you've got the Primarch's return. Rabute Gilliman, he's one of the Emperor's super sons. He's back and leading the fight to save the Imperium. Then you've then got the Tyranid invasion. It's a massive Tyranid swarm. Is like, it's closing in on Earth's neighborhood. The Chaos Uprising, you've got Abaddon the Despoiler. He's like a big bad chaos leader, and his demon buddy Vashtor. They're building super weapons to shatter the Imperium. Orcs are just orcs. You've got Gazgol Thraka, the orc war boss. He's just stomping across the planets with his never-ending wah! And where to start? Hopefully, your mind is now a little bit like, I kind of want to know more. I'd like to know more. And if not, you've probably really freaked out by my very excited tone, because this is something I'm really passionate about. And it either pleases you or greatly annoys you. Either way, I don't care. Welcome. Books. Books are the best place to start. The Black Library, it's packed with novels. I'd definitely start with something like The Horus Rising for epic backstory. My ultimate favourite, I've mentioned it loads before, is Gaunt's Ghosts. You've got a really gritty war drama there. You've got YouTube channels. A little bit like me. No, I'm joking. I'm not doing my own plug. But seriously, YouTube channels are great, but sometimes confusing. I'd recommend Arbiter Ian. He kind of goes with humour. He explains things in such a clear way. Then, in terms of games and TV, you've obviously got tabletop battles, but PC games and console games, obviously Space Marine 2. Other games are great, such as Dark Tide. You've then got Amazon Prime's Secret Level episode 5, which was all about Titus from Space Marine 2. There's sort of something for everyone at the minute, particularly within the media. I'm trying to think off the top of my head what the title was for that episode. They know, and they shall know no fear. You've also got Warhammer Plus. It's got loads of shows, lore videos, hobby tips, if you're ready to binge. So kind of that's it in a summary. I realise I've thrown a lot at you, but in a short space of time, and tried to keep it as simple as possible. But what's important to note is that Warhammer 40K, in all its grim, dark and ridiculously cool glory, whether you're here for the epic battles, those bizarre aliens, or the galaxy's biggest soap opera, 40K has something for you. And trust me, once you dive in, there's no turning back. So without further ado, I know I'm going to see you here in the next video.